So for Chapter 5, you should have about 20,000, 21,000 points, give or take. You're going to hit the store at this point, so you just finished Chapter 4. And assuming you didn't get Red Hot Kick, now you're going to get Red Hot Kick, and now you're going to get Mach Speed Level 2. And that's pretty much it. That's all you really need for quite some time until Chapter 7. So for the beginning of this section, there's two ways you can do this. The moment you get through this first cutscene, you can either hit Z, run right, and Mach Speed. You can actually run right over the mines without getting hit. But you have to jump for the last mine or you will get hit. Or you can just Red Hot Kick the moment the level starts. So after you hit Z, hit Red Hot Kick, and you'll fly right down. You know, shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? So I go with Red Hot Kick typically. And that'll start the level up. So let's try that. Let's do a Red Hot Kick. Red Hot Kick. There you go. Okay. Tanks. Now, how tanks work in this game? Normally, so they fire their bullets at you, of course. You can hit them back at them for good damage. With tanks, though, in this particular game, you want to actually hit enemies back at the tanks. They do way more damage. Way more damage. So, what I do is, for this tank on kids mode, you can shoot one enemy back at him in one bullet, or you can do 3 bullets, you can do 2 enemies, whatever the case is. It all depends on the spawning of these Bianchis in the beginning here. So the spawning is random. You're not always going to get what you need. So I kind of have to adjust as needed. In this case, it looks like I got a good spawn. So I'm going to have a Bianchi drop down off the tank. I'm going to stun him. I'll punch him into the tank. And we'll go from there. Okay, so 1 down.
Number 1 or number 2?
Now, he has all that damage. It did, what, a bar in, I don't know, 7/8, whatever, give or take. How tanks work also in this game, when they're going to fire at you, they'll make a sound, like a loud screeching sound. Sort of like how the Bianco Billies work. You know, when you see them flash pink, they'll shoot at you. Well, in this case, they're not going to flash pink or anything like that. The moment you hear that sound, hit slow and they'll fire, so you can force them to fire at you. It's pretty cool. So, check out the difference here. So that was me waiting, okay? And that's me hitting slow the moment I hear that sound. Quite the difference. So, don't wait for them to shoot at you. Like, don't wait for them to go through the entire thing, wait for it to turn red and actually fire. Go by the sound. The moment you hear that sound, hit slow. It's on reaction. What we'll do here is we'll take a damage boost. You can damage boost right over that lava. Just make sure you're actually level with it, so you know, get hit to the other side, and then we're good to go. Now, what we're going to do is we got to fight a Harrier here. If you want, there is infinite VFX in that pink box in the background right next to me at the moment. You can take a shocking pink, throw it against the sewer, and you can just Mach Speed it, and you can get that infinite VFX if you want. It's up to you. You don't need it, but it can help, I suppose. The key to this Harrier, we're going to use 2 fast fuses. This Harrier is a little tricky because you have to make sure your initial double jump is high enough so you land on the Harrier after your first fast fuse. If not, you're going to have to do it the hard way. So let's activate this Harrier. So 2 large jumps, kick, fast fuse. And while fast fuse is going off, punching. And then as it spins, do another one. And you're good to go. And he goes down in a flash. And the key will spawn right in the center. And you're done. And that's it for the Harrier. You can do the fast fuse method for it. You can actually just punch him. You can use the bullets to reflect with the spin kick. You can use the Cromarties that it drops. It's up to you. That, to the best of my knowledge, is the fastest method for taking him down right now. So 2 large jumps, a fast fuse, followed by multiple punches. And the moment it starts spinning, it's invulnerable for a short period of time. While it's spinning, pull out another bomb, fast fuse him again, and then continue punching, and you'll take him down in no time. That's pretty decent, consistent way of taking him down. When you first do it, though, it'll be a little tricky, because I bet 10 to 1, quite a few will actually have, you know, a shorter jump. They'll try to get up there in a panic. There's no reason to rush. 2 big jumps. But anyway. For these orbs, you're going to use Zoom Stomp. And to do this quickly, what you want to do is try to line yourself up in the middle. So if you're too far over, it won't work. If you're too far over, it won't work. If you're in the center, sometimes you can get 3, sometimes you can get 2 at a time, depending on your position. So like right here, so in that case I got 2. In that case I got 3. So if you're standing, looks like your back foot is a little bit closer to that gold, I guess, I don't know. We'll call it gold point. We'll use that as a stepping point. That's what I typically use, or your... My words are terrible. Oh my god. Use that as your visual cue on where to stand. There we go. So make sure your back foot is closer to that point. You can stomp twice, and you're out of there. Piece of cake. So, anyway. For this next section, the old strategy for this actually was to take a bomb, and after you take the bomb, you punch it, you light yourself on fire, you can jump through the lava and jump to the next section. That's, with the amount of health you have, that's unnecessary. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to hold Mach speed the entire time running into this next section. I'm going to raise the lava so I have a platform to actually get up, and then when I have the opportunity, I'm going to jump into the next section. So we're just going to take the hit. That's all. Taking the hit, no problem, like so. So jump, jump, take the hit, and we're done. That's it. There's nothing, you don't have to do anything special there. Now, for this section is tricky. You have 8 seconds to do this, because your fire aura lasts about 8 seconds. You gotta move. I've run out of time quite a few times actually doing this, but this requires good VFX management, and this requires precise jumping. So this is one of the harder tricks in the run, actually, in regards to strict platforming. What we're going to do is, the moment you get into this cutscene, we're going to pull out a bomb, okay? We're going to Mach punch and Mach kick it, Mach punch or Mach kick it, rather, until I have the fire aura. When you have the fire aura on you, you're invincible to lava, so I can run right through this. You are not invincible to... There's these little spots up against the vertical wall that I'm going to be coming up to, and they shoot fire out. You are not invincible to that. You have to rush through. You can slow dodge it, I believe, but you can't actually use the fire aura to protect yourself. So what I do is, the moment I line myself up with that first vertical... spurt of fire, I jump, and that's usually enough height to get me to the next section. So once I get to the next section, I hit the checkpoint flag, and then I just hightail it to the end. So that's essentially the strategy here. You gotta run, like you just have to go quickly. There's really nothing else to explain. And like I said, 8 seconds to do this. So, and the adults and Ultra V-rated strategy for this is very different than what I'm doing on kids mode. Ultra V-rated, lava kills you. It kills you in 1 hit, because I don't buy health on Ultra V-rated. So lava does 8 damage typically. That's a whole other story there. I actually use a completely different strategy for adults and a completely different strategy for Ultra V-rated. That's another time though. But let's try to do this here. So pull out a bomb. I'm going to Mach speed it. Light myself on fire, and we're off. Jump. Checkpoint. Hightail it. Okay, so used a little too much VFX there. Not a big deal. We still made it near the end pretty quickly. Now, what I didn't mention during the run, during AGDQ, normally, let's go over here for a second. Normally, what you have to do with Joker, you take Joker out. After you take him out, you can open the slots up, okay? And you don't get Vs to get to the next section. You actually have to get the bombs. And how the bombs work is, You take one, you throw it into this section, and you hold slow. So you essentially blow the slots out of this mini volcano that's down here. Now, instead of using Joker's stuff, you can actually use your own Shocking Pink. So you can skip this entire section. So let's bait Joker out of the way here. So normally I wouldn't be dealing with Joker. The moment you rush in here, run over here, pull out a bomb, throw it in. And that's it. You can skip that entire section just like that. It's really nothing special. So now this next section is beat 'em up. You gotta fight 6 Bianchis, you gotta fight 3 Cromarties, 2 Gelby, and a Harrier, okay? The Bianchis, you can just zoom punch them, not a big deal. What I would do if I were you, what I typically do, I take out the 2 cannons as well, and I try to take out a couple of the mines in the area. But I save 1 mine specifically for the Gelby, and you'll see why. So we'll take that guy out first. By the way, the spawning is random for these Bianchis. Sometimes they come out immediately, sometimes they don't. Let's pause for a second. That mine in particular, the one to the right of the tobacco sign, I'm going to save that mine for the Gelby, okay? And again, you'll see why. Take out this last guy. Now we got to fight 3 Cromartie. Cromarties are easy. 2 slow zoom punches will take him out on kids mode. Problem. And now the 2 Gelby, we're going to rush him over. With Mach speed, you can actually push enemies, because, you know, in this game, if you just like walk up to an enemy, you're just kind of running into them. They don't do damage, so take advantage of it. What we're going to do is we're going to get close enough to this mine to set it off, and then we're going to hold slow zoom. Okay? This way I can take out both Gelby in one fell swoop, and I can use their own weapons against them. Like so, and they're down. And that's it. So the Gelby's done. Piece of cake. Now we gotta go take on the Harrier, and how the Harrier is gonna work is, you see these white lines? What I would do first is jump on the mines and then jump off immediately to set them off, and the moment you land on the ground, that cutscene's gonna start for the Harrier. Actually, and once the Harrier starts, what we have to do is do a quick double jump and try to land on the Harrier as soon as possible, and we're going to do the same thing we did to the first Harrier. 2 fast fuses. So, jump on the mines, jump off. Quick double jump. And 2 fast fuses. And there you go. So, is it number 1 or number 2? For this next section, the Harrier's down now. Typically, if you take him out quickly enough, this pillar of lava is still up. So what you can do is you can also red hot kick into it for a damage boost. You land on the other side and you move to the tanks. So for this tank rather, what we have to do is we have a couple objectives here. We got to hit 1 enemy into him. We have to save at least 1 enemy for the next Harrier. And then we gotta, you know, we can take a bullet. We'll use a bullet to take out the tank as well. So the key thing is save at least 1 Bianchi for the Harrier after the tank. So let's see what we got here. So far, so good. Okay. Now, the tank is down, okay? And we have 2 enemies left here, so what we're going to do is, we have an ideal situation. We're going to dodge both of them, we're going to dizzy them, and we're going to knock them right both into the Harrier. So there's 2 ways to do this. If you only have 1 enemy, you dizzy them, you uppercut them into the Harrier, and then holding slow, you still got to hold slow to keep rock on mode going, where you get the massive damage. You'll see the crosshairs over the enemies. You follow up with 2 slow jumps, and you can punch the Harrier to death. That's one way to do it. The other way, with 2 enemies, what you do is you uppercut one up, you wait for it to actually hit the Harrier, and then you uppercut the other one. If you uppercut both of them at the same time, which you can do, what'll end up happening is the Harrier is invincible after the first hit. So you actually have to add a slight delay for the second hit. And I'll show you what I mean. So looks like we had 3 guys survive, actually. But I don't have to worry about him. He won't do anything. So we have 2 slow. We're going to go 1, 2. Done. And there's the Harrier. For this jump, we're going to go 1, 2. That jump's a little tricky. It might take a little bit of practice, but holding Mach speed, first jump left, second jump right, and you're on the train. And that's 5-1. That's about it.